Hello everyone, with the Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Friday evening, September 26, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section, but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the that's been like in your year recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Taking a look at the US National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook that just came out at 7:16 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:16 p.m. Jamaica time. We can see that we no longer have post-tropical cyclone Gabriel right here, even though we loaded up some information about it, so we just reloaded it and it vanished. But now we have potential tropical cyclone number 9 right here just to the east of southeastern Cuba. Definitely a bit too close for compared to Jamaica, or is it? Because we really need some rainfall to cool down these temperatures. And to the east of potential tropical cyclone number 9 right here just to the northeast of the eastern Caribbean, we still have Hurricane Humberto. If we take a look at the latest infrared satellite imagery, we can make out the cloud showers and thunderstorms associated with potential tropical cyclone number 9 affecting portions of Hispaniola still, the Turks and Caicos, the southern Bahamas, southeastern Cuba, and some of the moisture is even extending into portions of Jamaica. To the east of that, we can see the very formidable Hurricane Humberto right here with an eye for sure. We're going to be looking at the close-up of that shortly. But we can still see that we have post-tropical cyclone Gabriel right over here pushing away towards the east, towards southwestern Europe. If we zoom in on the potential tropical cyclone, we know that potential tropical cyclone is just a fancy name for strong tropical wave. It has not reached tropical depression status as yet. What they're basically doing is, designating the system as a potential tropical cyclone, getting the watches and warnings out there for the areas that should be affected later on by a tropical storm, if not a hurricane, just in case that it is doing something. No, the Hurricane Center doesn't want to get in trouble. They have to make it a potential tropical cyclone right now so that they can issue the watches and warnings. And as you can see here, we have a lot of cloud showers and thunderstorms affecting the southeastern Bahamas, section of the Turks and Caicos, section of Hispaniola. The deep thunderstorms that we had yesterday have cleared out for the most part, but they're definitely still getting in some rainfall. One thunderstorm batch right here across the southwestern peninsula of Haiti, the northeastern peninsula of Haiti, a lot of thunderstorms to the south of the Dominican Republic, southeastern Cuba, and Jamaica definitely got in our fair share of thunderstorm activity today as well. And if we take a look at the latest track regarding potential tropical cyclone number 9, they're stating here that it is currently packing 35 mile per hour wind, so definitely not tropical depression status yet, but within the next 24 hours we see that it should make it up into the D that we know represents tropical depression status. So definitely by 2 p.m. on Saturday should be a depression, and we see that it makes it up to tropical storm status with the S's by Sunday morning all the way up into Monday morning. We also see tropical storm warnings and watches. Well, yes, definitely tropical storm warnings in the blues up for a portion of the Bahamas, and tropical storm watches up in the yellows to the north of there. And we even see that the system could become an H hurricane status for sure the closer it gets to the southeastern United States. But look at that, possibly even downgrading back to a tropical storm before it even makes landfall. Look how the cone of uncertainty gets wider by the time we get into Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll see it actually plays out. Either way, we can see that it is definitely going to be bringing a lot of rainfall here. As a matter of fact, it's already bringing rainfall to Jamaica, and there should be some more of this to come as we head into tomorrow. This is the latest here from the Hurricane Center. They're showing that Jamaica should be getting in on the slight greens or the light shades of greens into greens, that represents anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. That's 25 to 50 millimeters of rainfall, or 2 to 4 inches of rainfall. That's 50 to 100 millimeters of rainfall. While other areas that should definitely be in the direct path of the center of circulation are going to be getting even more rainfall. Look at these yellows into the oranges, into the reds, that represent anywhere from 4 inches of rainfall, maybe all up into the 16 inches of rainfall range for portions of southeastern Cuba. We also see a lot of the rainfall into the yellows, into the gold across portions of the Bahamas, and we see that trailing up into the northern Bahamas, pushing towards the southeastern United States. And we see that there's still a lot more rainfall to come across portions of southern Hispaniola, even portion of northern Puerto Rico, still to get more rainfall. Some of this rainfall could definitely trigger some isolated flash flooding in some spots, so we hope and trust that the people are staying alert. Taking a look at Hurricane Humberto, as we stated, quite a formidable looking system. Look at that classic buzzsaw shape to it for sure. You know, these are the classic hurricanes that we see in the textbook. Look at the central dense overcast around the center of circulation. All of these reds into the blacks, into the greens. And that eye that cleared out for sure. It looks like it's even moving towards the southwest in a sense. Look at the track. It was up here, then it pushed all the way down here. Definitely not a northwestward track. Looks more southwestward, if not west southwestern. But it's still expected to push up towards the northwest. Don't let that fool you into thinking that it's pushing towards the Caribbean. Sometimes these systems wobble for sure. So it's definitely quite a formidable system out there, out to sea, not affecting land at this time. And the track of the system, according to the Hurricane Center, states here that it is currently packing 115 mile per hour winds. So we know that systems that usually pack anywhere from 111 to 129 mile per hour winds are definitely category 3 hurricanes. So it's definitely up to major hurricane status by now. You know that anywhere from category 3 to 5 across the Atlantic are representing major hurricane status. As you can see here, all of these M's representing the major hurricane status. It could even get up to category 4, maybe even category 5 status. We'll see how that plays out. As of right now, it is pushing towards the west-northwest at 5 miles per hour. And as you can see here, it should be passing just to the west of Bermuda, but the cone of uncertainty gets even more uncertain as we head into Tuesday. So they're not even really sure if it's going to be making it too close to Bermuda or not. So we have to definitely pay close attention to the forecast. Regarding the latest here on potential or post-tropical cyclone Gabrielle, I'm pretty sure that if I reload this right now, it would vanish, considering that this came out at 3 p.m. I believe that is Greenwich Meridian time, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure that this would, you know, vanish if I reloaded it. This was definitely loaded up before we loaded up this, and we saw it over here earlier. So the fact that we don't see it here, more than likely it is no longer here. But as of their latest update earlier today, it is packing 65 mile per hour winds. So strong tropical storm moving towards the east northeast at 31 miles per hour. Should maintain that tropical storm status, or not necessarily the status, considering that it is post tropical cyclone now and it is no longer on the Hurricane Center's website. But it should maintain those strong winds. We see the tropical storm force winds extending out far from the center, so they're definitely going to be getting in on some bad weather across portions of southwestern Europe, some of the activity pushing into northwestern Africa as well. Regarding the latest here on the surface map, we can see that we have a trough right here across portions of the, well, it's the same era. So it's a tropical wave interacting with the trough right here that we know is what is it, potential tropical cyclone number 9. We also see numerous troughs off the east coast of the US. All of these unbroken or broken lines, I should say. We see the symbol associated with Hurricane Humberto right here to the northeast of the Lesser Antilles. There's actually another tropical wave right here across the waters to the east of the Windward Islands, and just to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands there's another tropical wave. All of these either pushing from east to west or southeast to northwest, all courtesy of this ridge of high pressure to the north. Regarding the visible satellite imagery, let's see if we can make out some of these entities that we just mentioned on the surface map. The clouds associated with the trough of the east coast of the US, the clouds associated with the tropical wave interacting with the trough that is now potential tropical cyclone number 9 right here across the southeastern Bahamas, lashing portions of Cuba, Hispaniola, and Jamaica as we speak. Look at the quick spinning system that is Hurricane Humberto right here just to the northeast of the Lesser Antilles. We can quickly see post-tropical cyclone Gabrielle pushing away towards the east. Not really showing that well on the map right here. There's supposedly a tropical wave somewhere in here. Not really making out the clouds associated with that at all though. Either way, we'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Friday, September 26, 2025. It was stated that rainfall could have been in the forecast of parts of some eastern, central, and western parishes on, well, as especially northern parishes during Friday afternoon. We know eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, and St. Catherine. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. While northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, and Portland. And what ended up happening? At around 3:25 p.m., the infrared satellite imagery was posted not only here on our Twitter page over the Jamaica, but it was also posted on our Instagram page over the Jamaica, on our TikTok page over the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page over the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So at that time, we saw the thunderstorms erupting across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes, with the brunt of the thunderstorms seeming to be across the north coast for sure. So definitely across sections of Trelawney into St. Anne, into St. Mary, into Portland. Not necessarily St. James into Hanover at all. Maybe some overcast skies across those spots. But we definitely saw the thunderstorm activity across eastern Westmoreland into St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. Sections of St. Thomas getting on the afternoon thunderstorm as well, while it was mostly cloudy in the Kingston area. And we can see it all even better on the visible satellite images of Jamaica right here. I mean, look at the low level flow. It looks like more of a northwesterly flow on the western side. Even has some thunderstorms right here off the coast of Westmoreland right in. They're pushing towards the south. Look at the southern side. We're getting in more of a southerly, if not southwesterly flow right in here. Definitely bring some moisture into section of some southern parishes for sure. Definitely had some rainfall into portion of St. Thomas this afternoon right here. Some decent thunderstorms as well across sections of St. Catherine and Clarendon. And we can see the thunderstorms even better right here. Look at how all of the thunderstorms quickly pushed off from north to south. Look at that. Into Clarendon, into St. Catherine, and then by the time they got out to sea, we saw that the clouds are starting to dissipate, but still having some rainfall being experienced even across the far eastern end for sure. And the Jamaican Doppler radar confirms this. Look at the Doppler radar. All of the greens into the yellows into the oranges that represent some moderate to even some slightly heavy rainfall, and we can see the fashion of the rainfall pushing in from northwest to southeast in a sense. Trust me, all of this has to do with the location of the potential tropical cyclone all the way up in here for sure. This is what these systems do. They influence the weather across Jamaica. Even if they're not really, making landfall, they can definitely influence what we're getting. We are used to getting the east to westerly flow and the usual afternoon rainfall across central to western parishes for sure. But today was definitely an exception that we liked with the rainfall that took place over in here. Regarding the live camera from C Jamaica's YouTube channel at around, this was 2:09 p.m. showing Flatbridge. We can see that they got in on some moderate to slightly heavy rainfall. We can see the Flatbridge soaking wet. The Rio Cobra definitely still chilling at that time. We know that if it wasn't chilling, it wouldn't be green. It would definitely be murky, if not orange, maybe like carrot juice, but nothing here at all. We see people in their vehicles still going about their business, but I'm sure that they're grateful for the little rainfall to cool down the temperatures around here. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit C Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams all for you all to view for free. So subscribe today to this channel so that you don't miss out. Taking a look at the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website. This map isn't 100% correct, but it does paint quite the picture of how we might have had that rainfall today, especially across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. And we have a few comments confirming what the weather is like in some of our followers' area today. We have active 4081 stating lightning and rain in his era, weather Jamaica, thanks for confirming. We have Gatewater stating Patrick City, sky dark and place well cool, no rain though. We have Fest Gina stating rainy and windy. Even on our Facebook page we had the comments coming in. Linda stating we had some thunder and lightning early afternoon and a little rain, but it's past now in West Portland, thanks for confirming. We have Eileen stating yes, it's raining. We have Pretty Bella Ivy stating Kingston overcast with a little thunder. Randale stating good evening weather Jamaica. We are getting some rain and thunderstorms in Brownstown, St. and now thanks for confirming. We have what do we have? We have Naiki stating rain in Clarendon. Verna stating Portland, Jamaica, we're getting a lot of rain fall up in the Blue Mountain and in all the other areas of Portland. Thanks for confirming. We have Demure, Lockstafari stating very light rain in Portmore. More thunder than anything as usual. We need some heavy showers to cool down the place, man. I know. Fitzroy stating Spanish Town, lots of rain and thunder. Latoya stating what a lovely rain. I wonder where that is. Even on our Instagram page we had the comments coming in. To zoom in so that we can read them. We have First Lady Sage stating heavy rain and thunder in Mandeville just like I like it. We have Watermelon Sugar stating very rainy in Angels. Don Mafia stating Clarendon get heavy rain. One Ryan that underscore stating overcast in Hanover. Walkboat Paul stating Kingston overcast but no rain yet. Edward Stenisha rain and heavy thunder in South Manchester. So far Mac 2013 stating my neck of the woods in Spain I get some heavy rain, enough thunder and lightning. We have Queen underscore stash FX underscore billionaire stating Mandeville just got a big thunderstorm with too much lightning for my liking. Let's see. We have KK Sweet stating Portmore active, you know. We have Dane stating this year I feared nowhere cause the place hot, whatever that means. We have Ira Roos JA stating raining ultra rare snow. Kelia for life stating heavy rains in Clarendon. We have Super Duper Kimmy stating raining Old Harbor, bear thunder and lightning. Alright. Okay, we have Chindian stating me a wash way in St. Mary. Dr. C underscore Johnson stating beer empty promises my side of Kingston get. We have Josh Shane stating right now Spanish Town or Washway. We have Joe's underscore Enterprise stating it comes down heavy in Old Harbor but it's drizzling now with no light. Even on our Instagram page we have the comments coming in. We have Emily stating Montego Bay overcast, no rain or lightning. Mommy stating rain in Spanish Town. KE111 stating same with Port Maria. Keon stating Mandeville get it from 12 p.m. until 4. We have Mar Dunkley stating it's in Clarendon. We have Candy stating we are having heavy rain in Central Clarendon. Betty Thomas stating Clarendon it's raining cats and dogs. We have Sophia Livermore stating no rain in Kingston and it's 6 p.m. Let's see, we have user 2310 etc. stating rain in St. Elizabeth Blessing. We have famous Tikiana stating Kingston. I wonder what about Kingston. We have Shani Thompson stating ultra rares have rain up for me tonight at work. We have Harmony stating the weather is overcast here in downtown. Let's see. We have Mitchell stating Clarendon rain. We have Troy Skull 710 stating Southwest St. Elizabeth dark. And we have where to underscore stating happening in Portland now. Thank you all for confirming what the weather is like in your area for today. Alright, so let us reload the very latest still image from the Weather News website, the latest Jamaican Doppler radar image, the latest Cuban Doppler radar image, the latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar image, and the latest Cayman radar image. We want to see exactly what's taking place across Jamaica right now. Alright, so here we go. The latest still image from the Weather News website is showing 23:55 UTC, which is actually 6:55 p.m. So this just came out about what? That's about 14 plus 5. That's 19 minutes ago. Considering that it is 7:14 p.m. right now, and we still have some leftover clouds across sections of some central and eastern parishes, and there could be some rainfall underneath some of these clouds. There's definitely some rainfall to the east of us. Wherever we see the sparkling white dust, that's where you know that we're getting in some thunderstorms. We also see some thunderstorms to the northeast of Portland as well, some thunderstorms out to sea as well. Let's see what the Doppler radar images are showing. Alright, so we're looking at the latest Doppler radar. Let's pause it and go. So this is 2356Z. So this is showing 656 at 1 minute over what the infrared is showing. And we're actually seeing the rainfall. We're seeing some light to moderate rainfall into sections of St. Anne, into eastern and southern Clarendon, sections of St. Catherine getting in on some of that rainfall as well. Maybe spilling into sections of St. Andrew. We also see some of the rain bands across sections of St. Thomas, as well as the waters to the south and east of there. Definitely coinciding with what we just saw on the infrared satellite imagery. I'm pretty sure that the Cuban Doppler radar glitched out as usual. Look at that, glitched out at around 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3:30 p.m. Jamaica time. But at that time, we saw the rain bands across the island, the greens into the yellows that represent some moderate to some slightly heavy rainfall. The Guantanamo Bay U.S. Naval radar is actually confirming that rainfall that's affecting portions of southeastern Cuba, sections of the western peninsula of Haiti, portions of eastern Jamaica. Just the blues into the greens that represent some light to moderate rainfall at that. Regarding the Cayman radar, we can make out that rainfall right here across portions of the waters of south central Cuba. Some isolated hit or miss light to moderate rainfall to the south and to the west of the Cayman Islands right there. And if we take a look at what's taking place right now, the live camera here from See Jamaica's YouTube channel shows that the roads are kind of wet. Maybe some earlier rainfall across the Barbican area. Let us go back in time. There we go. So at around 5:27 p.m. we were getting in some amount of rainfall across sections of Upper St. Andrew for sure. I'm glad that this this live camera is here to confirm. But right now we see all of that rainfall has dried out. People in their vehicles are going about their business. The evening should continue to be fair for the most part, as most of these clouds are going to be clearing out. Regarding the temperatures right now, we can say about 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Saturday, temperature should be down to about 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow. This map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Saturday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Saturday. And we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some grays, and we know the grays represents 0. That's about average temperatures. And we know the average temperatures for the month of September across Jamaica is around 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and when that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that's around 32.2 degrees Celsius. So that should be the temperature forecast for Jamaica on Saturday, 32.2 degrees Celsius. And we have at least one maintenance outage advisory here from my JPS online Twitter page for some areas in the parish of St. Mary. I wonder that we have to highlight these because we know that when we have power outages somewhere across the island, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas of St. Mary, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, please let them know that the power outage is coming their way on Saturday, September 27, 2025. We're referring to Port George Road to Dover, Enfield, Tinsbury, Epsom, Ite Boreal, Cricket River, Junapen, Port Stewart, and May River from 6:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. And we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It stays here: dress down, wear lightweight clothing, and use sunscreen. Check on others, including children, elderly people with medical conditions, and pets. Be cool, stay indoors and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough the importance of staying hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty, and put away those sugary drinks and drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and what's within those reds. And we're liking that we're seeing less dry air these days. Most of the dry air as of right now is across the waters of the main development region, extending from Africa and the northern portion of the North Atlantic. And we hope the dry air remains up in this part of the world. We want all of the moisture and the blues to stay across the main development region's southern and western sides into the Caribbean, into the Gulf, in and around Central America. And that's what we want, because wherever we have the moisture, that's where we have more of the clouds. And wherever we have the clouds, that's where we have more of the rains. And that's what we want. We want more clouds so we get more rainfall to keep water in our pipes and to keep the temperatures down. Regarding the Saharan dust forecast for the next 3 days. So we're heading into September 27, September 28, and September 29. And as you can see, we have Jamaica right here, all in the clear. No Saharan dust is going to be affecting us. We do have some Saharan dust pushing through the main development region. Should be affecting the Eastern Caribbean by tomorrow. We see that it is dwindling down though, from the oranges into the yellows back to some greens. Not saying that we won't see the slight Saharan dust in the atmosphere when it gets to Jamaica next week, but not necessarily, you know, it won't trigger respiratory illnesses in some persons, asthma, sinusitis, or anything like that. Regarding the wave forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is showing that the highest wave should be where we have Humberto, definitely anywhere from 2 all the way up to 9 meter wave height or more, because of that major hurricane for sure just to the north of the Eastern Caribbean. And we also see the seas are going to be churned up across the Bahamas as well. We see the dark blues into the purples representing up to 2 to 3 meter wave heights for sure, as potential tropical cyclone number 9 develops possibly into that tropical depression. While the Caribbean, we're seeing light shades of blues to dark shades of blues. We're talking about anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height all the way up to 1.5 meter wave heights. And that's because of the winds that are expected. We definitely see that southerly flow between Jamaica, Haiti, and the southeastern Cuba, spinning around that center of circulation right in here. More of a southeasterly flow across the eastern to the central Caribbean. When we see that counterclockwise flow around the center of circulation, that is on here to say it all makes sense as to why the waves are so strong. Look at these wind speeds up into the yellows, into the burgundies, into the purples, into the pinks, into blues, all the way up to major hurricane status in knots. But we're going to be zooming in terms of Jamaica's wave and wind forecast tomorrow. So to the north of Portland tomorrow up to 0.8 of a meter wave height expected. To the north of St. Anne 0.5 of a meter wave height expected. To the north of Hanover 0.3 of a meter wave height expected. To the south of Westmoreland 0.3 of a meter wave height expected. To the south of Clarendon 0.5 of a meter wave height expected. To the south of St. Thomas 0.7 of a meter wave height expected. And that's because of the winds that are expected across the island tomorrow. Look at that. Another day where we don't have easterly winds. It's looking like more of a southwesterly, if not a south-southwesterly kind of flow across the island. So anything that comes off of the sea from the south could bring some rainfall into some southern parishes. And we know what happens wherever we have the least amount of winds across the north coast. Section of Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, once again, those are the areas that are going to be getting in on the low-level clouds, becoming rain clouds, well, medium level rain clouds, if not upper level cumulonimbus clouds, when we have that daytime heating during the afternoon across sections of some northern parishes for sure. And the upper level winds for tomorrow seem to be coming in from the east, if not the southeast. So if we actually get some thunderstorms tomorrow, we could get a thing like this: thunderstorms forming, cloud tops being sheared off like this towards the north and towards the west. Very interesting. Definitely favoring even more of that rainfall across sections of some northern parishes. Regarding the actual rainfall forecast now, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 6 a.m. Jamaica time. And as you can see here, we have Jamaica shaded in some blues that represent rainfall across sections of some southern parishes. And given that we're going to be getting in on more of a southwesterly, if not southerly flow tomorrow, definitely expect some morning rainfall across sections of some southern parishes for sure. You know the southern parishes. We're talking about Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrews, St. Thomas. Definitely could get in on some amount of morning rainfall, and we definitely see both the Euro and the GFS in agreement with that. So look out for that morning rainfall, especially in the early morning times. Then by afternoon, look at this. Both the Euro and the GFS are in agreement that by around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time, there should be rainfall across sections of most parishes, eastern, central, and western parishes. And look at the brunt of the rainfall on the north coast. We're talking about coastal Trelawney, coastal St. Anne, coastal St. Mary. They're going to be getting on some heavy afternoon thunderstorms for sure. We also see some rain bands across the waters to our south, spilling into some southern parishes. Interesting for sure. Let us see how it plays out tomorrow. It's going to be a very wet day on Saturday. Might be the wettest day of the week so far, and we're already grateful. If you have laundry to do, get that done early. or get it done on Sunday. Either way, in terms of the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps here, both the Euro and the GFS are in agreement that within the next 24 hours, there should be up to an inch or more of rainfall. The Euro going up to at least 1.24 inches of rainfall in the St. Thomas area. GFS going up to at least 1.46 inches of rainfall in the Trelawney area. Very interesting forecast for sure. There could definitely be some isolated flash flooding taking place across Jamaica on Saturday. And whatever happens, we will definitely take it, because we're in the month of September. And in St. Mary, whose bar graph is being shown right here, we usually receive 122 millimeters of rainfall this month. That's about the same as 4.8 inches of rainfall. While in Manchester, we usually receive 124 millimeters of rainfall in September. That's about 4.9 inches of rainfall. And if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of September or for the entire year, you can visit nomadseason.com, and that website to show you that information. And we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top, because we're going to be going out to the next 168 hours. That stands for the next 7 days. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens that represents inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. Alright, so we just looked at Saturday's forecast. Now it's time to look at Sunday. 12th on Sunday, as you know, it's about 7 a.m. Jamaica time. We do see some moisture to the north of us. We see some moisture across the waters to our south. Interesting. Would we still be getting in on that southerly flow? Some morning rainfall on Sunday. Then by Sunday afternoon, rainfall is spreading across eastern, central, and western parishes. We also see future Imelda right in here. That's potential tropical cyclone number 9 right now, but it should be future Imelda. To the east of that, we have very formidable hurricane Humberto. What do we see on the GFS? Do we have agreement regarding the locations of the systems as well as the rainfall that's expected across Jamaica? 12Z on Sunday, we see rainfall to the north of us, rainfall across the southern and western parishes. Then on Sunday afternoon, just like what the Euro was showing, rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. And we see the locations of both systems as well, almost similar. Regarding what's expected on Monday morning across Jamaica, rainfall to the east of us on the Euro. Monday afternoon, rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. What does the GFS show? Monday morning, rainfall across the western end, rainfall to the east of us. Monday afternoon, rainfall across some eastern and northern parishes. What do we see on Tuesday morning? On Tuesday morning, rainfall across the far waters to the east of us on the Euro. Then on Tuesday afternoon, rainfall across looks like central and eastern parishes. What does the GFS show? Tuesday morning, rainfall across the waters to the east of us. Tuesday afternoon, looks like rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. What do we see on Wednesday morning? On Wednesday morning, rainfall to the north of us, rainfall to the east of us. Then on Wednesday afternoon, rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. What does the GFS show? On Wednesday morning, rainfall across the far eastern end. On Wednesday afternoon, rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. What do we see on Thursday morning? On Thursday morning, not really seeing much of anything across Jamaica. On Thursday afternoon, however, we're seeing rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. And we're going to be stopping right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Friday, October 3. And we see some moisture across some southern and eastern parishes in Jamaica. By that time, tropical storm or hurricane Humberto should be all the way out of here. And we see where Imelda should be pushed into the southeastern US. What does the GFS show? Thursday morning, rainfall across some southern and northwestern parishes. Thursday afternoon, rainfall across sections of some central and western parishes. And just like on the Euro, we're stopping it at the end of the 168 hours. So this is also valid for Friday, October 3. Don't really see much of anything across Jamaica at that time. But regarding the total accumulated precipitation forecast for the next 7 days, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Friday, October 3. And we see the dark reds into the purples and the pinks that we know represents anywhere from 2 all the way up to 5 inches of rainfall or more across the waters to the north of the Caribbean into Hispaniola, Jamaica, eastern or southeastern Cuba, the Bahamas right in here. So we know that some of these spots could get some isolated flash flooding, and the usual same amount of rainfall rates across sections of Central America into northern South America. So those areas could get some isolated flash flooding as well. And we not only see that the GFS is showing this, but the Euro model is showing something similar. And we know that when both maps are in agreement like this, the chances are higher for it to take place. Even the rainfall totals in the other areas that are shaded in the greens into the yellows, the Lesser Antilles, Central to Western Cuba, the Cayman Islands, those 1 inch of rainfall or less rates are expected for those spots for sure. But regarding the rainfall totals for Jamaica over the next 7 days, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Friday, October 3. And we see Jamaica shaded from the eastern end to the western end. On the Euro, in the greens, yellows, oranges into the slight pinks, represents anywhere from 15 millimeters all the way up to even 80 millimeters of rainfall right here across Portland and Trelawny. We'll see. The GFS is a bit more robust and widespread, especially across the central and western parishes that are shaded in the greens, well into the yellows, into the oranges and the pinks, I should say. So the 30 millimeters of rainfall all the way up into the 80 millimeters of rainfall into the coastal St. James and Trelawny area. Very interesting. We'll see it actually plays out, and whatever happens, I will definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. Alright, what's taking place across the rest of the Caribbean? Not really much. The Lesser Antilles looks like we're getting in on a break right now. So too the Belize area. What do we see on the Doppler radar imagery? On the Doppler radar imagery near Puerto Rico and the Leeward Islands, not really seeing much of anything. Finally getting in on a break from the past rainfall. But we got some decent rainfall during the afternoon across northwestern Puerto Rico earlier today. Regarding the Barbados radar, similar to the Puerto Rican radar. Not really seeing much of anything. We're zooming out. Still not seeing much. We have some moisture, some light to moderate rainfall to the northeast and to the far east of Barbados. But most of the rainfall right now is just to the east of Trinidad and Tobago. Some of the activity already pushing into the island, as you can see there. Regarding the wide array of Doppler radar images, we can see some moisture across a portion of central to western Cuba, some moisture to the west of Florida. Looks like it's pushing towards the west coast of Florida. We also see the usual moisture across section of Colombia and Venezuela. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Saturday. And we see especially the areas that are shaded in the dark reds into the purples that represents 2 all the way up to 3, even 4 or 5 inches of rainfall. Now we know some flash flooding could take place. We're talking about areas like the Bahamas where we have potential tropical cyclone number 9, portion of southeastern Cuba, section of Jamaica into Haiti right here could get on some amount of rainfall. We also see the same rainfall totals into Costa Rica and Panama, while other areas that are shaded in the greens into the yellows, into the oranges and the slight reds. So 1 inch of rainfall or less is definitely expected for portions of Florida, the northern Bahamas, the Cayman Islands, sections of Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Montserrat, Guadeloupe, sections of Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, sections of Venezuela, so to Colombia, sections of Nicaragua, El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, Belize, the Yucatan Peninsula. And we clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in agreement with that forecast. I know that when they're in agreement like this, the chances are higher for it to actually take place. Alright, so what's taking place across the Eastern Pacific? We're still watching Hurricane Narda right there. Let me see. Can I find the infrared for the Eastern Pacific? It doesn't seem like it. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. So we're going to be finding the Eastern Pacific. We want to see what's taking place over there right now. And so here we go. Narda looking quite impressive right here just to the west of Mexico. A lot of thunderstorm activity around the center of circulation as we speak. And we spoke about this system. It is currently packing 90 mile per hour winds. So we know that it is around category 1 status still. Anywhere from 74 to 95 mile per hour winds definitely represent category 1 status. Should continue moving off towards west northwest. Right now it is moving at 13 miles per hour. Then it's expected to make a right turn or a north turn. Expected to downgrade back to a tropical storm and even back to a depression as we get into Monday morning. We see how far the tropical storm force winds extend. Even the hurricane force winds extend out to a great deal. Well, what's taking place on the Western Pacific side of things? We're still watching what is now Typhoon Boaloy, if I'm not butchering that storm's name. It was a tropical storm yesterday. It's now up to a hurricane, it's a typhoon. We still are watching tropical storm Neoguri to the east of Japan. If we take a look at the infrared right here, look at the deep convection associated with that typhoon that's about to push into portions of southeastern Vietnam. It already lashed portions of the Philippines with some heavy rainfall. I'm sure there's footage out there, especially on Twitter. As of right now, still expected to continue moving slowly. We're talking about tropical storm Neoguri just to the east of Japan, then start pushing off towards the northeast quickly. Regarding the typhoon, it's still expected to push off towards the west northwest right here, currently packing 70 knot winds. You know that systems that pack anywhere from 65 to 83 knot winds are classified as category 1 systems, but look at what is expected to do. It's expected to get up in there 80, 85, 90 knot winds. So we're talking about getting all the way up into category 2 status. Don't be surprised when it gets up into category 3 or even category 4, because these systems can definitely overachieve. I will know that intensity model guidance isn't really these hurricane centers. Well, the National Hurricane Center is in Miami, but Joint Typhoon Warning Center is another hurricane center. So we know that intensity model guidance isn't really their strong suit, so don't be surprised if it overachieves before it makes it into Vietnam. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.